And what's going on today?
Well, we're just getting started. It's almost 9 o'clock now. Half an hour to go. At 9 o'clock, there'll very possibly be a little bit of a rally, maybe a reading of the two major documents that have come out of the General Assembly in New York City. We'll really just be focused on setting everything up between 9 and noon. There should be some lunch going on, noon to 1. At 3 o'clock, there will be some General Assembly facilitation training. At 5 o'clock, we'll hopefully have the biggest rally of the day. And then at 7 o'clock, we'll have our first official General Assembly. And then at 11 o'clock, that will have to be finished with because that'll be our daily quiet hours.
And how long do you expect to be in the
We expect to be here
People's
for
Plaza?
at least a week. More likely a month or two, maybe more. And if it gets too cold, my personal thought is we might stop sleeping here, but there will be a hardcore group that continues to come here during the daytime as much as we're able to. But we want to see some real significant change.
Can you give me an idea of what the kind of change you want to see?
Well, yeah. First and foremost, I want to see a place where people from all walks of life can gather together and talk about what's going on for us. Tell our stories about how this system is failing us and brainstorm ideas about what we could do to have a system that meets the needs of all the people.
It's easy to talk the talk. Politicians are very good at that, but actually walking the walk is a different story.
Are you impressed by what's happened so far?
I love it. As I said, the last time there was the enjoyment of the American dream and protesting, I think was Vietnam. And unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to participate because I was in the military. So maybe it's going to allow me to relive my youth a little, or a portion of it that I didn't have an opportunity to do. And I think the movement's terrific. Just don't get hijacked.
What would that mean?
That would mean having the two parties. This would be prime for the Democrats to come in and hijack the movement.
What about the third party?
And, well, I don't advocate third parties at all. I advocate the abolishment of all political parties today. Because any party that's going to compete will have, in the corrupt system that's been created, in which for that party to compete, they will ultimately corrupt themselves. It has to happen. Well, it's already a two-headed monster. Why would we need a three-headed one? Let me stand with John Adams, one of our founding fathers, who said that the destruction of America would be when political parties take over the government. I think we're there. So, no, I don't advocate the third-party movement anymore either. I advocate the abolishment of all political parties.
It's now. What's happening is now. This is the tipping point between whether we go fascist or we begin to build something new. And the point is, it's these general assemblies and this talking amongst ourselves that's the real defining characteristic, because this is a process, not an event.
What do you think the prospects are for the Occupy Wall Street movement in Minnesota?
I think they're good. Minnesota has a very vibrant peace and justice community. I know the peace people will all be out here, and I see a lot of people here that I haven't met before, and to me that's a great sign that there's lots of people interested in this, and I think it will grow.
I think this is a movement of people who are tired of what's been going on with the money, the distribution of the wealth, the gap getting larger. A lot of people have personally been affected with their foreclosures of their homes, job loss. Their health care has been dropped or upped. They're really personally feeling it. The young students in college have these incredible debts they owe, and the future doesn't look good for them having jobs. We need to have a voice. No one in Wall Street has been held accountable. They were given a big bailout with no accountability. So my voice is something has to change. I know the movement is growing. There are a lot of different voices. I don't like how the media is portraying it, that we don't know what we're talking about. But because there are so many different voices, and there is a General Assembly meeting tonight for people to discuss that, I think there has to be accountability on Wall Street. I think some people need to be behind bars. And I think it has to be looked at how we go forward from here. You know, hold Obama, whoever is elected, accountable for the people's voice to really be heard.
I mean, if there is one place we should be occupying, it's probably Wall Street.
What do you think the prospects are for Occupy Wall Street in Minnesota?
I believe it's a good show of solidarity. I believe the real movement is in New York. I think we need to just be a part of that in any way we can. I mean, if we can't be there, we need to be on the internet communicating with them, watching what's happening there. But I think that's the starting point, and if this spreads like it's starting to, it's going to be something neat. A revolution maybe that we haven't really ever seen before in this modern age.
Well, I'm here, number one, to see what we can do to organize support to save the St. Paul Ford plant, where I worked for 31 years and where friends of mine have been working for a long time. And secondly, I'm here because I'm fed up with the plant closures nationwide, the transfer of our work to slave states abroad, the continuation of the wars, and the cuts that the government is trying to force upon our troops. And we have several people from my local union fighting in Afghanistan right now come home. If Ford gets away with closing our plant, they'll come home to find out their jobs are abroad. So I'm almost 70 years old. I've been in the trade union movement for about 50 years. This is the most hopeful thing I've seen in the last 30 years. Maybe people are beginning to get it, that the banksters and the war profiteers and the free traders are destroying America.
Do you think that Occupy Wall Street will work in Minnesota?
Well, I think so. I mean, there's an opportunity. The leadership is here. Opened up this today, and it's up to Minnesotans about whether they want to come down here and talk with people. I've been here since 10 o'clock this morning. There's some magnificent people here. I mean, this makes me feel pretty good about the hopes for America. So I hope that people will get involved. I think this is the right focus, that the Wall Streeters have pretty much done in not only the American economy, but the world economy as well. And I think it's become more and more clear to the American people that the elite, the American elite, own the government. So nothing wrong with giving democracy back to people, bringing our work home, putting the 46 million Americans that the corporatists have forced into poverty over the last 20 years, finding work for them to do. That can all be done. I grew up during the 50s, so I saw that work.